Yo, 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 UFC fans, how's it going? Coming at you on a beautiful Friday, April the 30th, 2021. Back on another episode of Calf Kicks MMA podcast. I'm your host, Zach Z Bone, and your mom, Gleason, here with my co host, Gage Hangnail Hamby. And I'm coming at you live from my beautiful backyard here in Katy, Texas, or my parents' beautiful backyard because yes, I still live with my parents because I spend too much time watching fights. So Gage and I can bring you guys quality content, and I can keep my betting streak hot.
Let's
So
go.
how's it going, Mr. Hamby, sir?
Hey, it's a beautiful day. It was not as beautiful as last Saturday. I'll tell you that for sure.
Wait, hold on. You ever heard that Randy Rogers song, It's Too Late for Goodbye?
No, I haven't.
So Randy Rogers has a song, and like basically the chorus at the end of it is "Too late for goodbye," and he has a live show with Wade Bowen called "Watch This" because they have two albums out together called "Hold My Beer" and "Watch This." And I was listening to it in the car today, and they have a song on there. It's a minute and 30 seconds. It's kind of like a skit, and it's called Whataburger. And basically, right at the beginning, he goes, "It's too late for French fries," and says, Randy Rogers gets up there and says, my favorite thing in the world to do? Pull up in the Whataburger drive-thru with $100 bill in my hand and say, "Give me all your ketchup."
That's funny. All right, hey, let's get into the fucking
Let's
recap
talk
of
some
last
fights.
week.
Let's quit being stupid.
Yeah, let's talk about last week, UFC 261.
That was huge. That was a big night, and it was a great time to have a big night. First fight night back with fans, packed stadium, and it was packed full of action.
And not to mention, everybody threw fucking bangers. Like, what was there? Like, I don't even think there was one one decision. Yeah, there wasn't one decision on the
No,
main
it was
card.
Jimmy Crute got drop foot.
Dude,
Chris Weidman broke his leg. Valentina
RIP.
TKO'd. Rose KO'd Zhang Weili, and then Usman KO'd Masvidal. It was great. It was
Fucking
fantastic.
sick. That was some grade A entertainment right there. I'll tell you that.
And not that it particularly matters, but we were all in bed before midnight too, which is not usually something that happens on a fight night like that. So I appreciate it. I appreciate getting to go to bed a little bit early.
Hell yeah, dude. That was good shit. Let's talk about Jimmy Crute and the fucking calf kicks.
Dude, wait, hold on. Before we go a second further, we've done this show, now 4 times we've posted. We've probably done it 5 or 6 times, just testing it out and running it with the two of us. So I think it's time we finally come clean with the fans and describe where we came up with the name Calf Kicks MMA Podcast.
Go ahead.
So one weekend, right around quarantine, we're talking summer 2020, maybe April, not a year ago, but maybe it was January 21. I'm sorry, I get my dates mixed up. Me and Gage hang out at his house in San Marcos because he's going to Texas State, and we get into this discussion right after Poirier and McGregor 2 about how devastating the calf kicks are and what kind of effect they can have on you as a fighter, like when you take so many of them. So Gage and I decided to do an experiment where we basically kicked each other in the leg probably upwards high 30s, maybe close to 40 times, and neither one of us could walk straight for a week. I thought I broke my leg at one point, and that's how we came up with calf kicks. And looking at last week's card, like you said, Jimmy Crute, I think we came to the conclusion. We came to the conclusion that calf kicks are a pretty valuable weapon to have in your arsenal as a UFC fighter.
Hell yeah. You can ask Jimmy Crute how them calf kicks felt. Dude couldn't even stand on his own leg.
Dude, it's crazy. I can't remember it, but Sean O'Malley remembers it like off the top of his head. It's only happened like 4 times in UFC
4 times
history.
now.
Yeah, and one of them was to Henry Cejudo. Or no, it was Demetrius Johnson against Cejudo, something like that.
Yeah, and then Sean O'Malley, Jimmy Crute. I don't know if we want to classify as Chris Weidman as a calf kick injury, like drop foot, but that
it wasn't a fucking drop, but he broke his leg. Let's just be honest.
And he was the one kicking. Yeah.
That was how I hurt my leg when we were doing our experiment, was when I kicked you.
Yeah, that shit fucking sucks. But yeah, Anthony Smith, more power to him. Freak injury. I mean, not really freak. If you hit him right, it's like the button for your leg. Like when
Well,
you
I
get
don't
hit
think
right on the chin, same thing.
I just mean I don't think anybody ever means to do that. Like if you could aim for that and you did it on purpose, that would be a great move. But I think it's a lucky move. And I don't, more power to Anthony Smith. He got the dub. I'm not saying it was a lucky win or that he didn't deserve
Absolutely.
it, but bad luck to Jimmy Crute, I guess. I mean, looked pretty even for the couple of minutes we got to watch it. I mean, for the round. Up until the drop foot, Jimmy Crute looked pretty good. He looked like he might win the first round, and he even got that takedown after he got the drop foot.
Yeah, I mean, I think the doctors had a good stoppage. I think they made a good stoppage, but he could have kept going.
I mean, you can't send a guy in there like that. I mean,
no.
Especially because you saw the way he was walking, how he kept turning his foot over. He was bound to freaking step on it wrong and break his ankle at some point or tear a ligament in there or really hurt himself. So I'm glad they got him out, lived to fight another day.
I'm pretty sure we both got that one right last week, if I don't recall myself. Yeah.
I hit on everything last week except for Masvidal. I can't seem to pick a main event, so knock on some wood over there, and let's hope I can get one right this week.
Chris Weidman. Dude, that was fucking gruesome. That was bad.
Yeah, excuse me. Let me just say I appreciate the broadcasting team because when it happened, the camera went away immediately. We went to the booth, we went to the announcers, we went away, then we went to commercial, then we went away again. They weren't showing it, but nobody needed to see that. Really, I think they replayed it maybe once.
I kind of wanted to see it again, and then I saw it one more time. I was like, I don't think I wanted to see that.
Well, the kick and when he originally broke it was bad. But the fact that he stepped back on it was even worse. Like when he tried to plant on it at the end, that made me want to vomit. That was bad.
That was the worst part is when he tried to step back on it. But like
that might have been the worst part of the whole fight night was having to watch that.
Yeah, I agree with that. But how fucking crazy is that Anderson had the same injury doing the same exact thing, but to Chris Weidman?
If there's a guy that can come back from it, Chris Weidman, I think, can figure it out. It's just a very inopportune time, given his age and given the run he's had, for this to happen. I'd like to see him fight again just to say that we saw him fight again, but
I think he's done. He has.
I don't know if it'll be for any significance. I mean, yeah, I could also see him being done. That would be a very respectable move as well. He's done his due diligence, excuse me.
Yeah, hey, so much for that 4-fight win to the top,
That
went straight out the
guy
window.
for trying. That's what Overeem was saying before he got beat and then he got cut. Yeah. That's what Woodley was saying before he got beat, then he got cut. I mean,
Woodley got cut?
I don't know if it's official, but I think that was the rumor going around.
I think he will be, but I don't think he has yet.
Let me double check. But I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Dana came out and did something crazy and kind of like Anderson Silva said, I respect you. I'm glad you want to fight again, but we kind of don't want to see you fight again. Like, go beat your family. Like,
I mean, we were 2-0 on that one. I was initially for Chris Weidman last week, but at the end, I changed my mind to Uriah Hall.
So me too, and I didn't want to win that way. Nobody wants to win a bet that way, but like,
no,
I'll take it.
So we're 2-0, starting off the card. On to the next one for the recap. Valentina Shevchenko.
Man, she looked good. She looked fantastic. And you know what's crazy is back in the 90s when Evander Holyfield was the heavyweight champion of the world, somebody asked him a question about training, and he basically said, I don't train as hard as I need to because I'm already levels above everybody else. I just need to plateau. I need to maintain. I think it's crazy that we're in this era where all of the UFC champions are consistently getting better every time they come out. Like, that was the best Valentina we've seen so far, and I can't imagine her next fight will be too shabby either.
there's levels to this shit. Like Usman says, there's levels to this game, and these champions are on a different level. Man, she took her down. That was Andrade's game plan. Valentina switched it up on her and made her pay. I mean,
That crucifix was dirty.
brutal.
There, I mean, Andrade was completely immobilized. That crucifix was dirty.
That crucifix was nasty.
And I just mean, like, I don't really want to go see her fight Amanda Nunes again because,
No.
I mean, I think I might have talked about it in the past. I know we brought it up at least in the past, but the more I think about it, I think skill for skill, tit for tat, they're about as good. They're about even. Valentina might even be better, but I think with that weight advantage and her having to fight up, Amanda's just too much stronger. She hits way too damn hard. I'd much rather see Valentina v. Rose now, per se, or something along those lines.
All right, let's talk about Thug Rose. I came out last week and I said it was going to be a war. Sadly mistaken. Fucking, what was that, first round TKO?
I mean, it might have been first minute TKO. That fight didn't last long at all.
1 minute and 18 seconds TKO. Dude, I didn't think she was. I mean, I thought Thug was going to win, but dude, she came out and she put the perfect fucking kick right on the chin.
I just mean that could not have played out better for her. It was just perfect. The strike hit her right where it needed to, and it put her right down.
That was deadly.
I'm also not opposed. I think Thug Rose is the better fighter. I told you I think she's way too technical. I'd prefer to see her v. Shevchenko, but I don't know how we're gonna sit here and boo Zhang Weili out of the ring and talk about her like she's trash.
No, she's badass.
You could set up the rematch with Joanna if you want because that was an awesome fight, but I could also see them saying, Thug, Rose caught her. Rose got her. It was a lucky shot. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing them remake that fight and run it back.
I agree. I mean, that wasn't an accurate representation of what Zhang Weili is about.
No, Zhang Weili's a much better fighter than what we saw on Saturday. And maybe it was something about Rose. She just looked out of it. She looked, almost scared, like very much on the defensive.
I don't know. Like, obviously, you're in a championship fight in the first round, the first minute. Like, yeah, you know that feeling if you ever played sports right before kickoff or tip off, whatever. You get those butterflies in your stomach. And she didn't even get hit once. So, like, I don't even think she got rid of the butterflies,
I think that, I don't even think she threw a strike. I don't think she even got the chance to throw one.
That might have been her. I can't recall, but like she didn't throw more than 5. I know that for sure. That was one of her first
I don't
shots.
think Weili threw any.
Yeah.
But that was just domination. Like
that was technique.
Joe Rogan pretty much summed up everybody's emotion too. Like I couldn't have been happier for Rose too.
Yeah, that was emotional.
Not to get political and not to say anything that crosses the line, but being an American person, you can always be proud to say there's another American champ. I was just looking on Twitter earlier today, and this one might have been a little bit more political, a little bit more racially motivated, but John Jones was going after Francis, saying, you think you can run your way through the heavyweight division and you ain't even done shit, basically. He said, that belt's coming back to the best country in the world, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Amen.
I just mean, it's always cool to have another American champion. So big shout out to Thug Rose. And, I'm not ready to throw Zhang Weili away. I think she's still a great fighter. I think she's still a main event fighter. I think she's still a draw fighter.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But if you saw the whole entire card, there was a bunch of Chinese fighters and Asian fighters on the card, which tells you that Zhang Weili has a big following in China and that she's a huge, sports figure.
There's a bunch of great fighting leagues over there. Like one is out of Asia. I don't know if they still do Ryzen anymore, but that one used to be in Japan. I know that.
Pride, the OG Pride.
Yeah, the OG Pride.
It's kind of where the sport originated, really.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind if we had another good Asian fighter come out. That'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I
know,
don't
like
think
Korean Zombie.
I'd say he's the best, like, consistent men's, fighter from the Asian area. I think he's Korean, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's South Korean, I think. But the thing about Korean Zombie that I didn't know until recently, excuse me.
Because he actually has a name.
Well, he does actually have a name, but he did a lot. I mean, he was awesome in the WEC before the UFC. Like, he's
Really?
like had a long career. He's fought a lot of fucking people, and he's beat a lot of really good people.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right. Let's fucking recap this main event, the one that I called and the one that you lost on.
I missed. I can't call a main event to save my damn life. I'm 11-4 on the 3 cards that I've called, and 3 of those 4 were main events, and 2 of those 4 were cards that I only picked the main event. Kevin Holland will do it to you, man.
Jeez.
He's a trickster. He's like the Loki of the UFC. But let's talk about some Usman Masvidal.
Like I said earlier, there's levels to this game, and Masvidal ain't on Usman's level by a long shot.
I don't think anybody is right now. He just got the number 1 pound for pound in the world ranking, and I think he well deserves it.
I think he well deserves it as well. That he has been on a mission since the last Usman versus Masvidal one to show everybody that he's the most dominant champion, and he's done it. And like the funny thing was, Masvidal in the press conference last week said he has pillows for hands. That dude got stoned for hands, dude. That was fucking disgusting.
Well, it's just like when GSP ran through the welterweights. He beat everybody, and then he ran it back and did it a second time, and he beat them all worse than he did the first time, and just distanced himself, just put himself that much further ahead of everybody else behind him. That, like, going back to what I was saying about Evander Holyfield, Usman had a great team. He had a team that led him to a championship down in Florida somewhere, and he said, y'all's strength is wrestling, y'all's strength is ground game, and that's my strength as a fighter. I want to go out and learn how to strike. I want to go find one of the best striking coaches in the world. He gets with Trevor Whitman, and now he's knocking people out cold. He just memed Masvidal, one of the best boxers in the UFC. And I mean, like, when I say memed him, like, that was all over the internet with his sweat spraying everywhere.
It looked like when Deontay Wilder knocked that one dude out in boxing, and it just sprayed everywhere.
No, and that was Masvidal went on Helwani, I think, Monday, right after the fight, but he couldn't have said it better himself. I mean, kudos to the guy, props to the guy. He's a great sport, great, UFC athlete to have around. I don't think we can throw Masvidal away, even though I think it's pretty fair to say he's probably never going to be champ. But going back to the point, he basically said, that was the perfect strike. I came into this fight thinking he out-wrestled me the first time. He went down low. I thought he was going to shoot. I put my hands down for wrestling defense. He changed levels, and he caught me. And, I mean, he hit him so hard that would have knocked out a fucking horse. No human on this planet. Francis wasn't taking that punch. He hit him so hard.
That was like so clean, and he hit him so hard. Like, I can't even say, like, his striking, I know we said this last week, but his striking has improved so much, and he put it on display again. I mean, like you said, Masvidal, pound for pound, one of the best boxers, just straight up strikers in the sport. And he fucking downed him. He outstriked him. Like, I can't even say enough. The dude was the badass. And people weren't putting respect on him. He has everybody's respect now.
I'm just gonna be honest. I don't see him being really challenged at 170. I think I'm a Colby Covington guy. I think Colby Covington's a badass. I think Colby Covington's a good fighter, but I think Usman's not gonna knock the shit out of him. I think Usman's gonna break his jaw again, especially because they hate each other. I mean, there's more animosity there than there was with Masvidal, like by a lot.
Yeah.
And then at that point, Gilbert Burns is really good, and Gilbert Burns is gonna get better, but I think like you said, I think there's levels. So I think if we really want to see the best Usman and we really want to see him challenge himself, he has already said he doesn't want to move to 185 because he doesn't want to fight Izzy. So I think we're going to have to see Izzy move to 205 again before we see Usman move to 185. And I think that's where he might find a challenge.
I agree with you a lot on that. I mean, obviously, Colby Covington is going to be the next fight for him. And I think he was the last challenge for Usman, that last legitimate challenge.
That fight was dead even. One judge had it 3-1 Colby going into the fifth. One judge had it 3-1 Colby. One judge had it 3-1 Usman, and one judge had it 2-2. Dead even going into round 5.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, that was a banger of a fight. Like, honestly, I mean, but you could tell Usman was winning it, and he would have won a decision. But it was a good fight. And that's the last time he's been tested, and he's gotten a lot better since then. And Colby hasn't fought since then. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm a Colby Covington fan myself. I think he's going to get knocked out. Usman's just too good.
And ring rust is real, man. Like, I know Colby's a very proud guy, and I respect him for that. You know, you make your way to the top. You don't have to play with the chums anymore. You play with the best. So, I'm not saying wait around for the champ. I would have liked to seen him fight a couple of times to just stay in fight shape, because ring rust is real. Like, I think we're going to see a totally different Conor in July against Poirier. I don't know if I think he's going to win yet, but I think since he fought and got knocked the fuck out, I think there's going to be some improvement. I don't think Colby has been put in that dangerous situation where he's needed to use his skills to the fullest of his ability. Like, because even on a heavy sparring day, you're not trying to kill each other. Like, you're fighting with your teammates.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see where Usman's going to go, because especially if he rematches Colby and beats him decisively, whether majority decision or unanimous decision or knockout, it's like, where does he go? He's already beat every top contender. I mean, maybe if Wonder Boy wins versus Burns, but Wonder Boy, I don't think he is a top contender. He's good. He's a name, but he ain't top dog.
I think if you want to have the easiest map, like, for Usman's future after Colby, it's gonna depend on Leon v. Nate on the 15th of May. Because if Leon knocks out Nate Diaz, he's gonna get the title fight. There's no question about it. But if Nate Diaz comes out and looks like a badass, I wouldn't be surprised if he got the title fight either. Preferably, I would not like to see Nate Diaz v. Usman, because that doesn't sound entertaining to me.
Fuck no, that does not sound entertaining.
Respect to the Diaz brothers. I mean, respect to Nick Diaz. We got to talk about him coming back in a second. But yeah. I don't want to see Nate Diaz just Kamaru Usman. I think Leon may have improved. They already fought once too, and Usman killed him. But if we have to make fights, and we're gonna have to keep seeing him at 170 because he's gonna have to beat everybody else again, I think Leon's next in line for an ass whooping.
I mean, I thought Dana was crazy when he was saying, like, oh, Kamaru might be the best ever, GOAT talk, all this shit. Like, the more and more I think about it, especially at the past 2 performances he's put on, he's lapping these guys.
Exactly.
I mean, like, he's in the discussion with GSP, obviously, now. I think, if he continues on this meteoric rise that he has, he might be, he might be compared to, the John Joneses, the Khabibs, even better than GSP,
Okay, write this down right now. It's April 30th, 2021. Colby v. Usman will happen in the fall, and then maybe Leon v. Usman at the end of the year. So we would have seen the champ 4 times this year against Gilbert Burns, Masvidal, Covington, and Leon. Even if only 3 of those happen and he wins all 3 of them or all 4 of them, I'm calling it now. Kamaru Usman's going to be the fighter of the year this year for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I have no doubt about that.
He's going to be the fighter of the year. Unless Francis ends up with 2 more wins or something like that too. If Francis beats Derek Lewis and John Jones, he's in the obviously you got to put him in the conversation, but I don't see the John Jones fight being made this year. So I think this is Usman's year.
I mean,
I don't know who else
what's his win streak? What's his title defense win streak? And his win streak overall is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, he's distancing himself. He's proving that he's just that much better than everybody else around him.
All right, let's flip the script. What's next for Masvidal? What do you think?
You're gonna like this because it's gonna lead into what I wanted to talk about earlier. So, what I think's next for Masvidal is he's gonna wait. He's gonna go train. He's gonna take himself to the gym, and it's gonna be another 2019 resurrection, quote unquote, type deal where he really goes and improves in the gym. But like I said, I think Kamaru is going to beat the shit out of Colby Covington. And then at that point, there's nobody. Colby's fought him twice. Masvidal's fought him twice. They're not getting a fucking rematch a third time after losing 2 apiece.
No.
So I think that's the point. I think that's the fight. You got to make Covington versus Masvidal. We've wanted to see that for over a year now. And like I said before we started the show, I would like nothing more in this entire world than for Colby to come out, challenge Masvidal, and ask for that BMF belt to be on the line. I don't think the BMF belt was a one and done thing. I think we need to start the lineage of it. I think we need to start moving it around, just because it's another piece that keeps things interesting for the fans. It keeps things competitive. Like we were talking about, like they're not getting the rematch with Usman, and maybe one of them will get to go fight for a belt if he moves up and vacates or something like that. But realistically, Masvidal is probably not going to get a UFC championship belt in his career. So why not create like a category or a division of like BMF guys that, you know, probably don't need to be fighting top contenders, number one guys, but guys that are big names and guys that aren't ready to go away yet.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think Covington versus Masvidal would be a great fight. I'm not sure if they're still teammates. I know they were at
No,
one
they're
point.
definitely not. Colby left the gym.
Okay. Yeah, but they were teammates. There was going to be animosity. It would be a big fight. I agree with that.
No, they hate each other. Colby hates Masvidal probably as much as he hates Usman.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, that would be a great fight. My personal thought is you fucking make Red Panty Night fucking McGregor versus Masvidal at 170. I mean,
that is a great idea, my friend.
for the BMF.
And for the BMF.
Dude, you know how it doesn't even have to be a title fight. Do you know how many pay-per-view buys Dana White would get? Holy shit. Masvidal brings in an audience, and then Conor brings in a whole nother audience. You would be so stupid. You'd be fucking just raking in the dough.
They're two of the best in the promotion on the mic, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, those press conferences would be heat.
Fire.
But here's what I think the issue with that is. I think if Conor beats Poirier in July, he's not going to go call for Masvidal. He wants that 155 belt back.
Hell yeah.
So he's going to go fight for that. But I think after he gets the 155 belt back, he called out Usman after the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he said, let me move to 170, beat Masvidal, and then say, let me go for the champ. Like, that's so Conor. I don't know if he can do it. You know, we haven't seen enough of him at 170, I don't think. But I think him versus Masvidal would be very competitive.
Yeah, well, I also think if he loses again versus Dustin, which I don't know, we'll talk about that when that comes down the road. But
straight to Masvidal.
Why not? They're both coming off losses, and it would be the biggest pay-per-view.
The only thing I could see outside of that is if Nate Diaz loses, you make Conor v. Diaz 3 at 170.
I mean, that has a little bit of saturation to it. We've already fucking seen it twice.
Yeah, but it's one of those ones. It's one apiece. You have to at least consider it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. This is gonna sound a lot more dick than I mean it to, but the Diaz brothers, man. They need to go do something else. They need to learn another skill besides fighting. Like, Nick Diaz is coming back, and the rumor right now is they want to throw him in there with Chimaev. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, why don't we throw this guy to the fucking Lions?
I just mean, Nick Diaz looks cut. His body looks better than it did back when he was fighting, if we're really being honest with each other based on his Instagram pictures. But Chimaev's that dude. He's so big. He's so strong. And if you watch his tape from back before if you watched his 3 UFC fights or however many UFC fights he has, you don't know Chimaev. But if you watch some of the stuff he did back before he got here and you see how good of a wrestler he is and how he can really use that ground and pound as a technique if he gets to that point, I think he's going to hurt Nick Diaz. I think that might be a really bad decision on Dana White's part.
I mean, for the safety of Nick Diaz, sure, but I mean, ththose bastards are tough. For one,
No, exactly. They're both of the Diaz brothers. Their chins are made of iron, and they're not known for going away early.
no,
I'm not saying Chimaev's going to put him down in the first round, but if they
I
do
think
a 5-round main event, we might.
we also have to talk about Kamaya has been out for a year, and Nick Diaz has been out for forever. So I mean,
think 6 years since his last fight.
yeah, exactly. I mean, they both like who are you going to give Kamaya instead? I mean, he's getting a name, and I guarantee you it'll be the main card on like a fight night or something.
No, that's the ideal fight for Chimaev.
Yeah.
From his perspective, that's who you want. It's a guy you can beat. Like you said, it's a name, so it's going to give you that status. He probably gets ranked again if he beats him, and then at that point, I'd love to see him fight Usman eventually. That's a dream fight, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I really agree.
I think Chimaev might end up being kind of like Francis, where he climbs his way to the top and he does it where he's not fighting for very long because he's knocking guys out. Then he gets to Usman, who's the GOAT. He gets to his Stipe. I think Usman might beat him. You know, Chimaev goes back to the drawing board, gets better, fights some guys, wins some fights, and goes for the rematch. And then we see Francis versus Stipe too, and he goes and redeems himself and shows, you know, I've gotten better. I'm still young. I'm still getting better. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Chimaev with the belt by like the end of 2022 or the beginning of 2023 here in the next couple of years.
I agree. He's super talented. Like I think he needs to get challenged. Like he's been superior on his feet. He obviously needs to get challenged by, you know, guys are, you know, top contenders, obviously, and he needs to face a wrestler to see how he deals with that. I mean, although he does have a wrestling background, we just need to see him against top competition.
I mean, honestly, at this point, we just need to see him get to the second round. We just need to see his cardio. We need to see if he can
We need to see him in the fucking cage is what we need to see.
I think we'll see him this summer. I think he'll get something done in July or August. I think he'll have something come up soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do.
That'd be nice. I mean, you know, especially if the Nick Diaz rumor is true, because you can build a card around that. You can build something. You can turn that into a money night.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right. Let's talk about the fight night tomorrow.
Yeah, let's talk about the future. We just spent however long in the past media cycle. Let's move to the new media cycle this week.
All right, what are your thoughts?
Let's start. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to touch the girls, and I don't really want to touch the Cody Stamann fight. I don't know a whole bunch about that, and I'd hate to mislead anybody. So let's touch Sean Strickland versus Krzysztof Jotko.
All right. Well, I'll give you all the rundown on old Sean Strickland.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's fighting 22 wins versus 3 losses. One of those losses being to Usman. I believe they're fighting at middleweight this time, but he lost to Usman in 2017, I believe. Unanimous decision loss versus Usman. He got beat up, but Sean, I mean, he's looked good. I think he's won like 3 or 4 in a row in the UFC since. And he has a stiff jab, man. He works behind that jab, and he touches people in the face. He touches them up, and he has a nasty 1-2. I mean, his stand-up game is pretty solid. He couldn't stop Usman from taking him down, so hopefully he's learned some takedown defense. But I guess we'll see. I mean, apparently this Jotko guy is also, you know, stand-up banger. So hopefully
he's a Polish guy. He's 22-4, and he's on a 3-fight win streak. The last time we saw Jotko, actually, you and I were together, believe it or not. Really? It was on that Overeem Walt Harris card from May 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. But he won 3 in a row. He's won 3 in a row, but all 3 by decision. I think Jotko's a power guy. I think he's a power puncher. I think this is going to be a drawn-out fight. But since I have just this urge that won't let me not bet on these fights, I think Jotko is going to end up being my pick at plus 210. Sean Strickland minus 265 just almost seems too real to be true.
I mean, I don't know enough about these fighters. I know that they're both stand-up power guys. But, I mean, we might be in for a boring fight. I mean, what's going on here?
This one very well could go 3 rounds and end up being a decision. But I also would not be surprised if we saw them come out and just try to wail on each other. When was the last time Sean Strickland fought?
He fought Brandon Allen in November, December, and he beat the shit out of Brandon Allen. And Brandon Allen fought last week or the week before.
Yeah, Brandon Allen's pretty good. Brandon Allen's not a bad fighter at all.
Yeah. I mean, he put the work on him. And like I was saying, he was just touching him up with the jab like a piston. So
you want Strickland at minus 265, huh?
I guess I'll take Strickland.
I'll take Jocko. It's always fun when we bet against each other.
Yeah, we'll see. All right.
Then
move
we got
on.
light heavyweights next. It's Ion Kutabala versus Dustin Jacoby. And Dustin Jacoby's a last-minute step-in for Devin Clark. I think Devin Clark got hurt like a week ago, and Dustin Jacoby just took this fight.
Really?
So
Are they ranked?
No, neither one of them's ranked. But Kutalaba fought, a bunch of times. He's an older guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, he's coming at 15-6 with 1 no contest. Jacoby's coming at 14-5.
Yeah, I think the thing about Kutalaba, I actually did some homework on this fight. A lot of people question Kutalaba's endurance, like his stamina and his ability to keep throwing punches. But when he is throwing punches, he's got freaking thunderbolt hands. He's got rockets for hands, and he can drop people, which is going to make for an interesting fight because Dustin Jacoby is very much a get in, get out, don't rob the store and wait for the cops to come, 1, 2, out, 1, 2, 3, out kind of guy, kind of going to go win by decision kind of guy. But Dustin Jacoby, I've noticed, I watched a couple of his fights, he also has this tendency sometimes to drop his hands. So, I don't know. This one's going to be a tough one for me. I think I'm going to take Jacoby at plus 120, double underdogs here to start off the day. But I think I'm going to take him running it into a 3rd-round decision. I think this one's going to be kind of boring, but only because Kutalaba is going to come out firing and he'll run out of gas by midway through round 2.
I'll second that decision. I'm going to be completely honest. I haven't watched either of these guys before. Didn't even know this was on the card. So I'll go ahead and take Jacoby with you.
It's funny because we've been trying to get this podcast going for 2 or 3 days, but neither one of us knew a whole lot about the guys on the card, so we had to go back and do some homework and find some nice things to say.
Yeah, for real. All right, the co-main, Giga Chicka Dizzy versus Cub Legendary Swanson.
It's Giga Chikadze.
Okay, I don't give a fuck.
No, I just meant I watched a lot of this guy's stuff. He was a glory kickboxer.
Yeah, he was like, what, 38-6 in kickboxing?
He's good, man. He's number 14 and Cubs number 15 in the featherweights. But I think we're going to see a knockout here. I think Chikadze is going to put him to sleep just because, Cubs fought everybody at this point. He beat a lot of them along the way. I'll give him kudos. And like you said, he's a legend. He'd be one of those guys that maybe we don't want to get rid of him. Let's throw him in the BMF division, see what that does. But I think Chikadze is going to walk away. I don't think it'll be 1st round. I think Cub will get out, but I think 2nd round TKO for Chikadze on this one.
How old is he?
Which one? Cub Swanson?
No. Well, both of them. I know Cub Swanson's older.
37. I know that.
Yeah.
The only thing they don't have on the UFC website is age. I have to go look him up.
Yeah, well, last time I saw Cub Swanson fight, I don't know who he was fighting, but he dropped somebody, and he looked good.
Chikadze is 32.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take Cub Swanson here. I mean, just the wealth of experience that he has, especially in his ground game, too. Cub Swanson's he's the real deal. I mean, he's obviously not a top contender, But I think,
Oh,
'cause,
he beat Daniel Pineda on that Figueiredo Moreno card. I remember that fight now.
yeah, he knocked him out cold. And, I mean, he looked powerful and he looked agile. I know pretty sure he blew out his ACL a year or two ago. So, I mean,
Yeah, he definitely blew out his knee and had to get surgery. You're absolutely
yeah,
right.
so he was out for a while and people forgot about him. So,
No, he's definitely a great fighter. He's definitely a legend, and if he ends up winning, either by knockout or decision, I'm not going to be surprised at all. But
yeah.
I think, if I have to pick a favorite on this card, I'm going to take Chikadze at -165 because it's close.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think this is one where it's going to be actually like a really good fight.
I hope so. I think the first two, I think Strickland versus Jocko might have, a knockout if we get to see that, if we're lucky, but that one might be boring. Jacoby versus Kudalaba might be boring. I think this is the fight that could kickstart the evening, per se, like you're saying, and have some action in it for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's going to be, perfect pick for the co-main event on this card because this card it's not too exciting.
No,
It's
it's not
not
too exciting, but
tantalizing.
it's a good, solid card for fans of MMA, for sure. You got
Absolutely.
guys that have done this before. You got guys that have been there, done that. Chikadze is a Dana White Contender Series guy. That's how he worked his way in there. You see,
That's
you got
right.
guys trying to make their names, guys trying to move up in divisions, guys trying to hold their place. It's definitely going to be a good fight night.
Yeah.
It's not going to be red panty night, but I think it'll be fun. I'm
Yeah.
excited to watch it.
Now let's talk
Get into
about the
this
one we're
main
most
event,
excited
baby.
for. The main
Let's get into
card.
the main event, baby.
Yeah, let's get it.
We got a
Yuri
light heavyweight up.
Prochazka versus Dominic Reyes.
Right here on the UFC website, it looks like the line has Yuri at -137, the favorite, and Dominic Reyes is a +112 underdog. Reyes is the number three ranked light heavyweight, and Prochazka is the number 5 ranked light heavyweight. What you got?
I'm going to take Prochazka. Dominic Reyes, I don't know, is because Jan is that dominant or was just on fire or what, but he did not look good against Jan Blachowicz at all. Jan took him to town. His defense looked like shit. His striking wasn't there. He looks like a shadow. He looked like a shadow of what was the guy that took John Jones to 5 rounds.
Okay, wait. Before I give my take, we just both have to establish, we talked about this and we know we agree on it. Dominic Reyes did not beat John Jones. I don't know who started that rumor. I don't know who thought that was a bad decision by the judges, but he didn't win that fight.
No, absolutely not. You can go back and watch it. Yeah, he was the aggressor, but John Jones was more technical and connected on more strikes.
I just mean there was never a point in that fight where I thought, oh shit, Dominic Reyes is really winning. Like he's really putting it on Jones.
No, the only thing you could say was he was controlling the octagon. Now, that's like the only thing you could say.
He wasn't letting Jones do whatever he wanted to him. Yeah. Like you saw John Jones do to a lot of people. He challenged him. He took him 5 rounds. I'll give him that. But, you saw John do that a couple of times in his career. More than a couple, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think going back to this fight specifically, I think I'm going to take Reyes. I think I got 3 underdogs. I'm going to take Reyes as an underdog here. Only because I watched a lot of Yuri Prochazka, and that dude's a wild man. He kind of looks like Michael Pereira, like doing flips and kicks off the cage and shit. He's just got a weird stance, and I just think he leaves himself open a lot of places. He can fight out of southpaw. He can fight traditional. He can fight out of either stance. So I'll give him that because I know Reyes is a southpaw. But I just think Reyes is going to control the octagon. I think this one might be kind of boring where we see 5 rounds of leg kicks and clinch work. And I'll give it to Prochazka. He's got great hands. He hits hard. So if he catches Reyes, it might very well look like Jan. Because I noticed in that fight, Reyes is boxing defense did not look good. Like against Jones, you can see him moving his head and he's on that line. And there's only a couple of ways you can really dodge a punch. You're either rolling inside, rolling outside, leaning back, or stepping back. And in the John Jones fight, I saw a lot of him slipping punches and moving out of the way. In the Jan fight, I saw a lot of him cover himself up like this and go straight backwards. And once Jan finally got him to run backwards into the cage and got him in the clinch, that's where that last punch ended up coming from.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dominic, he's a big guy, don't get me wrong. But Jan and Yuri, they're a lot, more well-built. They're thicker guys,
They're powerful for sure. I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah, dude, they're built like shit houses, man. And he got caught by Jan, and I think he's going to get caught again. I mean, also one thing that stood out about his last fight against Jan was Jan just like completely obliterated his side with that leg kick to his midsection, man. That was devastating. He put his hands up, and I hope he's changed his defense because Yuri's probably watching the tape. He goes, all you got to do is connect. He's going to put his hands way up high and leave his midsection, open.
That makes sense. No, 100%. I think one of the things I saw in the Jan fight that was, kind of detrimental to Reyes was that they went into the second round. Jan won the first round with those body kicks and the jab and the working the ring because Reyes is a kicker. Like he does a lot really, really good with his kicks. So I want to see him use his legs, to throw the leg kick, throw that center kick to the body and control distance because that's how he sets up his hands. He's a guy who wants to throw a leg kick, get you to put your hands down and then sneak in and throw the 1-2. I'd prefer to see him start with the hands and throw 1-2 and finish with like a left high kick or something like that. But I think in this fight, we're going to see him use his legs to keep Yuri away from him. So he's not going to be able to get that punch the way that Jan did. Because in the Jan fight, hold on, they both wanted to counter. It was kind of boring because you could see that neither one of them wanted to get in the wheelhouse and swing. They both wanted to wait for the counter. And then halfway through the second round, Reyes was getting that side beat up. He knew he was losing the fight, and he kind of just started wailing. He kind of just started throwing hands and kind of lunging at him. Like he was trying to be the aggressor, and I'll give him credit for trying to go win that fight. But you got to be patient, man. I think he learned that lesson. I think he's going to end up lasting this one out.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, since I'm taking Yuri, I don't agree with that. I think Yuri's going to touch him up. He's going to try to get in close with him, obviously, and try to back him down towards the cage. Maybe take him down. Maybe try to ground and pound. But it's going to be an interesting fight, that's for sure.
I mean, that's the way to beat Dominic Reyes, it seems, is to get him going backwards and definitely get him. As soon as you get him against the cage, you can throw that punch that Prochazka has and throw that finish.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's see. Let's recap. I got Jocko, you got Strickland. I got Jacoby, you got Jacoby. I got Chikadze, you got Cub Swanson, and I have Reyes, and you have Prochazka. 11-4 in my last 15. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4 more bets. So hopefully we'll be 15-4 at the end of the weekend. I'm excited to watch some fights. I'm real sad though about Yoel Romero. That really hurt my heart the other day.
Oh my God, dude, that sucked. That card is still really good even without Romero.
What's it built to? What's the rest of it? I think Archuleta's fighting, huh?
Archuleta, MVP's on the card as well. Who else? I think that's it. I mean, those are two big names. I read
today they're going to keep Rumble. They're just going to find a replacement. They're just going to pull Romero from the Grand Prix.
No, that's tough.
I just
wonder what happened.
He failed a fitness test or something.
The fuck?
It was something weird. They medically did not let him fight. But I'm excited to see Rumble. I think Rumble versus Nemkov in that semifinal for that Grand Prix is going to be a good fight.
I agree. I want to see Rumble and how he does post UFC.
Yeah, that would be huge, especially because the guy can scrap. Rumble's fucking good. He was one of my favorite fighters back in the UFC.
Yeah. I agree. I'm super excited to see MVP Michael Venom Page, dude. Holy cow!
That dude's a beast.
He's one of the most exciting fighters that you will ever see. Like him versus Wonderboy Thompson in like a crossover promotion. That would probably be like one of the best fights anybody has ever seen.
Just imagine if you could do that. Like, imagine if they set up Volkanovski versus Pitbull or something like that.
Just like a Bellator versus UFC cross promotion of like the wildest bangers.
The winner of the Grand Prix, so you get like a Rumble versus Jan. I don't really want to see Ryan Bader versus Francis. Poor guy.
Oh, did he get fucking murdered?
That wouldn't be so fun.
No.
About 2 weeks out from the live event here in Houston, though, from the Chandler Oliveira card.
Oh, dude, that is going to be really good. I saw some where it was the Leon versus
Leon versus Nate?
Yeah, I thought that was supposed to be 5 rounds, but I saw some recently where they changed it to 3, I think.
Interesting, because I've only ever heard that was going to be 5. It was going to be the first non-belt co-main event to be a 5-rounder.
It might be. I don't know. I might have got misinformation, but
I don't know. I'm excited for that podcast. I think we're going to have a lot of good stuff to say that week.
Next week? Wait, that's
2 weeks. We're missing next week. We're sad, and we have to be heartbroken because TJ Dillashaw pulled out of the Sandhagen fight.
Did they cancel that card?
They didn't cancel it. There were 2 girls. I can't remember. There was a women fight that was going to take the main event. They're going to put something on. We're going to have to do some homework for next week, too.
Hey, but we can talk about Bellator next week.
We can talk about Bellator next week. Absolutely, we can talk about Bellator next week.
All right. Catch us next week for our discussion on Bellator and the badass fights going on in that promotion.
Same time, same place. Cap Kicks MMA, signing out.